All right, guys. So today is the second to last, the penultimate class in our turtle regarding semester. So I don't anticipate that there's going to be a lot, but I ought to ask. Does anybody have anything they want to troubleshoot? Any questions they want to ask? Any problems they run into that they feel like we haven't quite covered? Blase, blase, blase. It's been a bit of a truncated semester, so I kind of don't anticipate anyone does. But if someone does, I will gladly answer it. Does anybody have any questions? No? Excellent. Well, I was hoping someone will get to the stuff I will go to today. So today, and John will grab you, but today we're going to talk about kind of digging a little deeper into the back roll to sit through. So what I'm talking about is, if I have you down, this mechanism of if somebody like stacks us up in some way where they shuck our legs and they utilize this shucking motion to facilitate a back roll to this position. And before you go, freeze to the turtle.
Bye guys.
Bye.
See ya.
And so once we get here to this turtle, at this point, John will pummel this underhook on one side and then sit through to a half plate, traditionally. And that's sort of the main function of this thing. So if we switch positions, we're here, he stacks my hips up, and so we'll just talk through this for a second. Bless you. The function here is that I'm riding the wave of the momentum he created. If he throws my legs, his goal is to get the side of my heel to the floor. So throw my legs like this. By doing that, so do that again, and this time go to side control. He's going to release and go to side control. He's going to release that enclaspment, and so on. So when he stacks my hips up and he very slowly starts throwing my legs, I can kick to my knee, right? We covered this in lesson 1. At this point, what I'm looking for is this underhook, and as he follows, I'm spearing this half guard. So it's kind of, when you do it all in one motion, it's kind of just like this tumbleweed thing. We've covered this already. One thing I want to point out, because again, today's a little bit of just kind of digging into this and putting it, contextualizing it a little bit further, is this motion exists in any situation where your hips have gotten raised off of the ground. There's a lot of different ways where that might end up happening. A good example is if I have John in a triangle and he begins to turn the corner on me, right, and he's here, and let's say we go back a bit. So I'm trying to finish this thing, and he's stacking me up. Exactly, so you see how my hips come off the ground. Once he turns the corner, he might put pressure enough to break it, but I can utilize that to start rolling through to this turtle. You see what I'm saying? And really, any time, like anyone kind of gets your hips over your shoulders, this is viable. This can also be, let me get you down. Let's say they even do a little bit more of a technical stack kind of situation. So like, instead of just shucking the legs, is going to be kind of unpleasant, is they might like reach a collar through and step up. Well, if John forces the front roll or back roll now, right, exactly. If I don't control the situation in such a way to prevent him from putting his weight in that direction, generating momentum in that direction, then he's going to have access to that back roll. So it's not so much like, oh, if they just shuck pass, but it's anytime someone passes your guard by getting your hips above your shoulders. If you can just force that sort of like reaching of your toes to the corner of the building, and you could facilitate that situation, then this back roll is basically anywhere. You'll find it even again like in open guard situations where like your opponent tries, let's say, let me get you down, and you're like seated like upright, is you might have someone who just really aggressively wants to just like tip your ankles, right? Well, now we're back, he just sits through. So even if I force him to go in that direction, if I'm thinking about tipping him and then getting close, boom, and he's back in front of me. So I kind of can't engage past his hips. Does that make sense, guys? Now, I do want to touch on today, and what we're really going to focus on. So does anybody have any questions about that? I want you to, yes?
Hey, you say from anyone stack when you hit up on the ground, but what about from triangle? Somebody will try to
Like an arm bar set? It's still there. It's still there in the sense of like, say I have you. You wouldn't, like if you feel like you're losing the arm bar,
yes.
So I'm in the guard, right? I get my arm bar, and he starts stacking me up, right? Stack, 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 stack. It's like at any point, if I just wanted to release this, I can use this motion. Not that this is the point of this semester though, guys, but that motion is very powerful even from there, because if I get that arm bar we're here, and then he starts stacking me up, is that one thing I can do is like kind of block his ankle and then be ready for a fall, and then just like take him that way. There's my arm bar. So that's there as well. It's the same principle. I just hold the arm bar. So if they stack you up, you don't see that?
No.
Yeah. So you just kind of same principle, guys. Kick your toes to the ceiling and then block the heel like or block the toes like you would for like an old school sweeping hack. Now I want to just go through one more sort of application of this, and then I want to just drill this, and I want you guys to play around with different manners in which someone might get your hips up in the air and roll you over or shuck you over, and play around with like utilizing again. It's this. It's like 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 when you do it, you go up to your hands. It's that same function. Like I'm pointing my toes to the top corner of the building and sort of reaching, but I'm using their momentum to kind of get the wave going. Now, very commonly though, when you go for this back roll, if they have kind of like if they catch you in the middle of it, they're going to go to front headlock. So what I want you guys to just start with is this should be very well. Actually, you know what? Let's table that. I want to talk about one more thing. So we go back. You're stacking me. Let's talk about a really basic idea. He stacks me up. He shucks me. Great. I back roll and so loosen up. I sit through and he repasses. Good. Right. In here. Right. Okay. He stacks me. Right. He shucks me over. I'm here. Right. Boom. He repasses. The point is, guys, these motions are intrinsically connected. If he throws my hips over my shoulders, I'm going to back roll. If he cuts past my guard, like in the sense of, if you think of it like invisible opponent, if I back roll and sit through, there might be this moment where I'm down to my elbow and down to my knee, where he can theoretically cut past his guard. Okay, well then, there's that. You see what I'm saying? So he cannot, like, slice past you. He cannot throw your hips without exposing the back roll, and he cannot slice through your guard without exposing the inward turtle. Does that make sense? You know what? Let's freeze at that. Do you need to see any of that? Let's freeze at that. I want you guys to just play around with that idea from a couple of different scenarios. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Let's start up. Working out. 1, 2, 3.